But tonight his parents are praying that a donor will be found in time to give their son a fighting chance.
Australia is being battered by violent storms which have destroyed homes and cut off water and electricity supplies. A tropical cyclone with winds of more than 100 miles an hour hit the coastal town of Cairns, and a freak thunderstorm in Melbourne tore roofs off shops and houses.
125-mile-an-hour winds have been buffeting the coast. Cairns has been one of the towns worst hit, with people being told to stay indoors. The centre of the cyclone is still offshore, but already power lines are down and there are fears of a tidal surge. Cairns is very popular with tourists, but they're now facing a thoroughly miserable Christmas holiday. In Melbourne, the Christmas period began with a separate storm. Homes and businesses were destroyed by gale-force winds. There had been little warning, but as the storm struck at night, luckily few people were out in their cars or on the streets. Huge hailstones fell, making it almost a white Christmas as the freak weather spread throughout the city. In New South Wales, it's the lack of rain that's causing the worst bushfires for 20 years. At least 20 houses have been destroyed in Sydney, and thousands have had to leave their homes as the emergency services struggle to control the hundreds of separate fires breaking out all around them. Michael Peshart, BBC News, Sydney.
In the Gulf, presents and good wishes have been arriving all day for British troops as they prepare to celebrate Christmas. In his message, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Robert Runcie, said, "We will pray for peace because it is peacemaking that unites us."
The British Army is happily buried under an avalanche of goodwill, 100 tons of it to be exact, some direct from the manufacturer, others from private individuals in parcels addressed to P.O. Box 3000. Things to eat, things to use, things to listen to.
It brings a little lump in the throat. It's nice to know that people are thinking about you.
Out in the desert, the parcels are being distributed all day to forward units like this company of the Royal Army Ordnance Corps. Identical packages to every soldier from the British Legion and a great deal else besides. Just when you think that even Santa Claus is wearing combat fatigues this year, it turns out he isn't.
Jerry, what would you like for Christmas? I want to go home. Thank you. Let me dry your tears. There you go. Get out.
Though the authorities have tried to play down the religious side of things, the soldiers in the desert want a real Christmas, and they're having one. Example, the reconnaissance unit with perhaps the most dangerous job of all, out in front of one of the armoured brigades. They can also sing. So here they are, A Squadron, the Queen's Dragoon Guards, Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright.
Well, there'll be more Christmas carols from the Gulf and a satellite link-up between soldiers there and families in Britain and Germany in a special programme here on BBC One at 11:25, Christmas with the Gulf. For now, from all of us in the newsroom, good night, and to all of you, a very happy Christmas.
Hello. A very considerable change taking place to the weather overnight, and Christmas looks distinctly off-white, indeed muddy and windy. This is the weather system that's going to give the trouble it's spreading a broad band of wind and rain eastwards across the country later tonight and during tomorrow. In fact, 4 to 6 hours of wet and windy weather for many of us, almost all of us, overnight and during the course of tomorrow. And then, we're not finished, there's yet another system of fronts already queuing up over the Atlantic, and that's going to do the same again on Boxing Day, spreading wind and rain eastwards across the country. A brighter day, we think, on Thursday behind these systems, so a decent day perhaps for the sails on Thursday. This is the way the computer handles the clouds and rain in the next 24 hours. A band of quite heavy rain moving eastwards across the country tonight and tomorrow. Showery weather with more broken clouds getting in from the west during the course of tomorrow. But back to tonight, well, many places are still fine, in fact cold, with some patches of ice over central and eastern Britain and even 1 or 2 patches of shallow fog as well. But round about midnight, rain and some sleet getting into western parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, some quite heavy stuff too. And a band of quite heavy rain getting into many northern and western districts during the night and becoming very windy indeed in the west. In fact, severe gales in places. Exposed headlands could see gusts as high as 75 miles an hour. And into the bargain, quite a cold night too. 2 Celsius is just 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, that band of wind and rain sweeping eastwards across the country, brighter weather with some showers getting across all areas by the end of the day. But some quite heavy rain for all of us to come. Those are the average wind speeds, a windy day at midday tomorrow, and those are the temperatures by the end of the day after a raw and windy start, getting up to about 8 Celsius, which isn't too bad, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. On Boxing Day, yet another band of wind and rain sweeping eastwards across the country, and then a brighter day, we think, on Thursday with sunshine and showers, but some of the showers wintry in the west.
Christmas Day on BBC One. At 5:10, Christmas, only fools and horses.
Say I caught mad cow disease.
Don't worry about that. Who the hell is going to notice?
At 6:25, fun and games in Bruce Forsyth's Christmas Generation Game. Christmas bread at 7:30.
I wish you'd get rid of that silly belly back. You look like a kangaroo.
And Birds of a Feather at 8:20.
Blimey, it's Alice Cooper.
At 9:45, Diane Keaton inherits a daughter in Baby Boom.
You don't stick this bottle back in your mouth this very second. You're going to find yourself on the next Greyhound to Duluth. Do you understand?
At 11:30, a storm over a sausage in a vintage Yes Minister.
Westminster sources say the sausage could be another banana skin.
And at 12:35, George Segal stars in L'Aquila Memorandum. Christmas Day on BBC One.
And now, our film for Christmas Eve on BBC One. Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger star in Blake Edwards' riotous comedy of errors, Blind Date.